Holy nut-ass, another freaking VOD review. No, I'm kidding. Hello everyone, my name is Curry Shot. I'm a multi-season top 500 player, and in today's video, it's going to be a follow-up video to the Learn How to Position as Tracer in Under 5 Minutes video. And we have a Tracer who sent in their VOD, who is at Diamond, the 3K rating, and we're going to be on Volskaya, similar map. Again, follow-up video. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead to my channel and check it out, okay? First things first, we want to look at team composition. We're running a pretty hard dive comp here, triple DPS with Winston. It's not a bad comp at all. So let's go ahead and look at the way you play this composition first, right? You don't want to sit at choke. You'll notice that we sit at choke a lot, like we're playing like we have a Reinhardt, and you just kind of just want to go in right away. The way you do this, by the way, you're running a 6-stack, so I'm going to be talking about macro play specifically. So usually you want to just go ahead and jump on the discorded targets. So Zenyatta should be the one calling out targets, most likely. There was no audio, so I don't know if he is or isn't doing this because I'm not in voice and I don't hear the voice. So just in case, you know, he isn't really calling out targets, this is really how it works, right? Zenyatta wants to call out the discorded targets, and then you, Winston, and Genji just pile onto him as quick as possible, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and play out this video. The first thing that I said in that how to position as Tracer video is I always said to establish which route you want to take, right? It's very important to establish the route you want to take when positioning with Tracer. So right here, in around 15 seconds, always hit tab. I always say this, but you know, so I always see players not doing this, but always hit tabs at 3:45 because their team composition, regardless of whether you see them or not and have line of sight of them, will be revealed to you. And you'll notice that, like I said in my video, in these 2 CP maps, they don't have heroes that contest high ground, right? They don't have like a Diva, Genji on defense usually, and it's really easy to go from the left flank route, which I will show you later, and go onto the house that is on top of point, and then just harass and be relatively safe since Hook 2.0, they do have a Roadhog exists now, and it's really hard to hook you out of there. You're at a very low risk while being able to do damage, build up Pulse Bomb, and create space for your team, which is what makes Tracer a good pick on these hard choke maps, okay? Let's go ahead and play this out. The other thing I want to talk about is the Roadhog matchup. As you will see here, I did talk about in the last video about the Roadhog matchup. You don't want to use all your blinks versus a Roadhog, especially if you know he hasn't used Hook yet. Hook has an 8-second cooldown now. It was nerfed from 6 seconds. And once Roadhog uses that hook, that's your window to go ahead and pummel him with damage for 8 seconds. That's your time window. That's how you play the matchup. You can't just blink in without any blinks. Roadhog, it's a free kill for Roadhog, as you will see here. So it's very important that you know the matchups. Roadhog is right in front of you, and boom. There you go. There's his hook. We needed that blink. It's just really important that you have these blinks available, and you are very aware of your blink usage when playing versus these matchups. Mercy, as you can tell, she's isolated in a way on the right side. She is with her team, but she's isolated from the flank. So this is why it's very important to go. I'm just going to rewind a bit to what I was talking about, the house on top of the point. I realize that might not be as clear. So right here. So you flank from the left, you take the flank route, you go up here, and then you blink on here, and you just pummel. You see how Mercy is by herself? You can just one-clip her. It's relatively easily. Even if their whole team turns around for you, you just hide back. You crouch, walk backwards, so they don't have line of sight of you since you're on the high ground here. It's just insanely hard to kill you. You're very safe. With your small health pool, it's very important to position correctly with Tracer, and this is the best way to do it. Now, let's say you're not getting kills and you're getting close to a Pulse Bomb. A good strategy here is to just leap down and then Pulse Bomb a target, a big target, let's say Reinhardt, and then unload a bit of your clip on them. To make sure that Zarya doesn't have shield. They do have a Zarya, so it's important to look at these things and consider these things. Now, however, if you're not creating enough pressure up here to create space, the next best thing to do is to just drop on point. They can't ignore you. They just can't. They're giving up ticks. They're giving up so much if you drop on point here. When you drop on point, you're forcing at least one person to 1v1, and that's what Tracer like really excels at, is those 1v1s. You want to isolate a target and try to take those 1v1s, especially considering they don't really have the favorable matchup. Soldier could deal with you if you do play the matchup right though, and you bait out his biotic field and then just wait it out. You can go back on him and one clip him. Now, the other thing is, if they send more than one person on the point here, then that's when they are at a disadvantage at the front right here, and your team can just roll them. Zenyatta will just discord somebody, Genji will jump on them, and so will Winston. Like, it's just relatively simple, especially if one of their healers goes with the person. It's just, it reduces their healing, reduces the man advantage they have at the front, and then your heroes, with especially with this composition, want to dive on the Ana and make sure that the burst healing is just completely gone. So this is the kind of strategy that I was talking about that takes part in positioning correctly with Tracer. Now let's go ahead, and I'm just going to reiterate a point. So at this point, you know exactly what they're running. So this is what I was talking about, the left flank, just to make sure that you know what I'm talking about. You guys know what I'm talking about. So right here, this is the left flank. You just need to use flanks, okay? And I'm just going to reiterate this because at the start of a match, you don't know if somebody's watching the flank. There could be, especially at the higher ratings, you'll see people just watching the flank here, just in case they do have a tracer. You'll see people just start heading there. So you want to use 2 blinks. I know it's a little bit harder, so you're going to have to practice it a little bit, but you can get through this left flank route with just 2 tracer blinks, not all 3, and then save 1 just in case you react to somebody who's just sitting there, like a Roadhog, like a McCree, let's say. Who knows, right? So it's very important that you keep this in mind when you do this left flank, especially at the start of the game, if you don't actually know what they're running. Just gonna go ahead and skip through now so we don't sound like a broken record. Right now, it's very important that you go from the right side, which you will go to the right side. This tracer will go to the right side here, but you'll see that 2 people die. So what's the correct move? Is it just go in and die? Yeah, you can go in and die and just regroup with your team. You can also just go ahead and do what I said earlier and just hide in the background here. Although if the team is good, they can possibly catch you. But in these lower ratings, in the higher ratings, this is not the right play. But like in the very, very highest of ratings, it is not. Like for instance, in let's say top 100, this is not the right play. But you know, you could just linger up here and just wait for your team to regroup. And when they reach the choke, then go ahead and drop on point and try to create pressure that way. Or you could go up here again, like I said, and then go ahead and poke at them and, you know, just go ahead and build up your ulti charge like that. Gonna go ahead and play this out and see what you do instead. So the tracer kind of drops to point. She's like in a danger zone. She's like right in front of the targets. Like they can just turn around. She's like in vision right now. Uses recall like that. We need to be smarter with our recall use. It's just not the right play to really stand there. It's just very risky. And then this goes into just constant trickling. You'll see that you keep trickling. It's just the problem at hand right now, right? Now, the other thing I want to mention is with this composition, I did mention it earlier, is that your team will say in a bit, well, we need to focus around hard shield again. Just that's not how you play the composition. You just kind of want to jump in, right? Now, let's go ahead and skip a bit because I'm kind of like sounding like a broken record, I can tell. So these are really just the points that I want to point out, is just knowing the matchups, what do you call it, or establishing the route, and then kind of in the moment positioning tips, right? That's what we're focusing on right now. So that's pretty much it for this video. It's just more so a reiteration and a follow-up video on the positioning tips with gameplay kind of showing the examples a bit better from a lower VOD review. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what video you would like to see in the future and if you would like to see anything else. I'll see you in the next video.